Hi, my name is Michael with Iconassist. Today we'll be walking you through setup of your large LumiPad 360 product photography lighting system. Once you've unboxed everything, you're going to see the components that we're seeing here. These will consist of a 34 by 34 inch back panel, two LED tower lights, as well as two light stands, and all obviously the accessories for connecting to power. So we're going to go ahead and set up. The first thing that you'll want to do is go ahead and find the boxes for the Spectro 600 tower lights. And we're going to unbox these. And again, inside of here, you're going to find the light itself along with the power adapter. So after you take those out, you're basically going to have a light like this. And the first thing that we're going to want to do with these is connect to our light stands. These are going to be responsible for mounting the light vertically. So let's put this one down here, and this is just a basic light stand. You're going to see there's some kind of screws on here. You're going to loosen these first, and it's going to be this main one, and you're going to open up the light stand to create a footprint, and that will sit just as we see like this. Next thing that you want to do is take your Spectro 600 light and connect it on the top, and it should be able to kind of go directly down to the bottom. If it doesn't, you're going to see there's this little side screw here, and we're going to loosen that, and we should be able to fit it down snug. Then we're going to tighten it to the stem on the light stand, and as we can see here, it's connected successfully. Now these, I should just first mention, they also do have vertical positioning. So you're going to see there's a bunch of different options here that you can raise them up, lower them down. They go from about 28 inches high up to 72 inches high. And the last thing that I should point out on this is you're going to see there's two kind of side mounts. These are going to be responsible for allowing you to angle your lighting. And let me just show you kind of from a side view. And it's these two side screws that you see here. So we'll just go ahead and we'll touch on that once we dive into actually setting it up for product photography. And the very last thing on these, you're going to see that we don't see any light coming out of here. These, what you see on top is barn doors. And these simply unfold and will allow the light to emit out the front. Now these are very good for helping you kind of shape your light. They are adjustable, and we'll dive into that a bit more too. So now that we've kind of walked through the components of the lighting system, let's go ahead and actually get it set up. All right, so I've gone ahead and set up both my lights on the light stands, and I've placed my 34 by 34 inch back panel on a desk. Usually anything about 2 feet in width should be enough working space. Granted, this will kind of depend on which turntable you're working with if shooting 360 product photography, and or the size of your objects if shooting still product photography. I've connected my backlight panel. Note that you do have a large power adapter. This one is designed for the backlight panel. It is 6 volt and 24 volt and 6 amps. So we're going to turn this on. Just a quick note about this, and sorry if it got really bright on your end. I'll keep this off for the majority of the video. This does have dimming via a side knob. It's stepless dimming, as we can see here, meaning that it doesn't kind of flicker, and it just increases by a very small amount each time. That's at full. And that's basically at lowest there. So let me just turn this off for now. And the next thing, and I'm not sure if you can see this, it's a clear acrylic stand. This is an optional purchase that we do suggest if you're going to be using this for still product photography. We do suggest purchasing one of these. This is 34 inches wide by about 28 inch depth. And we're going to use this. This is going to help us eliminate harsh shadows underneath our subject. While you could just place an object directly on the floor, it's going to be very beneficial to have a raised clear stand, again, for just eliminating your shadows if you're trying to achieve pure white backgrounds. Same goes for obviously a turntable. Turntable will at least rise your product. Your product can sit directly on the turntable top, and or we do have acrylic risers for our turntables. So I'm going to use the boxes for the LED panel lights to use to help me raise this acrylic stand here. And I'm going to place these kind of just in line, so they're about 34 inches from edge to edge apart. And I will take this clear stand and place it directly on top and push it back so that the stand is touching the actual light panel itself. So there's no kind of gap in between the light panel and the actual clear stand here. And next thing that we want to do is, it's probably going to be easiest if we take our subject, and I will take my subject here, place it in the center so that it's kind of sitting in the center of the backlight panel. Just a note, it's about probably about 8 inches from the back here. You can move it forward if you want more. We don't suggest anything closer than about 4 inches to the back panel. You're going to see that if it's really close, and if you're using the back panel at a very high brightness, like full brightness, it's going to start to bleed off a bit on the subject. So having a little bit of distance between your subject and the backlight panel will be beneficial. Next, I've connected my LED tower lights via power, and I'm going to place them on the left and the right hand side, as we can see here. And we're just going to walk through kind of things kind of quickly here. These are fully functional, as far as you'll have a lot of options with these. Obviously, you can adjust the height of these, you know, high and low. You can adjust the tilt of these, again, with these kind of side things, as we can see it tilting. And obviously you can adjust the brightness as well as the color temperature of these lights. So let's kind of walk into these and give you a little rundown. You're going to see a power button. That is the switch, the little button on the far right hand side. To turn it on, you're going to hold it for 2 seconds, and then you're going to see it emits light. And just kind of point it towards you, as you can see there. So you're going to see 4 numbers on the back too. The first 2 numbers are the dimmer value. Goes up to 99, and you might be able to see on the actual product itself that it's emitting more light. And if I start twisting this left, we're going to dim it down to, for instance, 50 here, and that's depicted by the number 50 on the 2 left digits. And if we go down even further, we can go down to about 10, and you're going to see that's emitting a very low amount of light, just showing you right there. So, and pardon me, I didn't tighten it enough. The next thing that we can do is the color, and just to kind of communicate that you're going to see a little blue LED where it says dimmer. If you just click the center of this dimmer color twist knob, it's going to toggle to the color adjustment, and you can see it's at 56, and I can move that down to 32, and you're going to see the color of the light being emit on the bag change. And just to show you that, it's a more yellowish light. So what those values are is the actual color temperature. It ranges from 3200 Kelvin up to 5600 Kelvin. And just majority of your product photos will be shot probably right around, well, I'd probably say at about 56. That is true daylight balanced color. However, maybe you sometimes have a gold or a yellowish type subject and you're having a hard time getting that to accurately depict color. That's when you'll want to drop it down a bit, and I'd suggest anything between about 4500 depicted by 45 and 4000 Kelvin depicted by 40 would probably be a pretty good number. Now, if you are making changes to the color adjustment, if your camera's shooting an auto white balance, it's automatically going to understand to change the white balance. You could always go ahead and set a custom white balance on your camera. If you have any questions about that, let us know. We'll be happy to help you. You do get free technical support. So we're going to shoot today with 5600 Kelvin, and let me just toggle back to my dimmer. We're at 10% right now. Let me just put it up to about 50% light. And I'm sorry this is kind of blinding you guys on the screen here. It is kind of a lot of light coming back. I tried to shoot this video very dark. That would be able to see the actual subject pretty well. So our first lighting technique that we can kind of walk through is just kind of even lighting on the left and the right hand side. We're going to match up about the same height. And let me just turn this one on again by holding the power button, and we're just going to match the 50% dimming, and the color's already at 56, as we can see on the LED panel. And looking at this looks like probably a pretty even light in the bag. Obviously would turn on our backlight panel a little bit higher, and would probably be able to shoot an image with pure white background. Our camera would sit right here shooting up the gut, and likely you're going to shoot directly on a pure white background instantly out of your camera with no kind of post-production. Next thing I should probably discuss is our barn doors. Obviously you can see these panels here, and let me turn off this light here just to communicate better, and I'm going to move it out of the way. Our barn doors are going to be responsible for helping us shape the light. And watch kind of this left side of the bag here, and let me increase my dimming up to 99. So we're going to see it a bit better. So if I close this barn door is kind of at an angle like this, it's probably stopping about right here. Now watch if I start to open this a bit. On the left side of the bag, you're going to see it starts to emit the light a bit more on the left side there. So that's what the barn doors are going to be helpful and kind of responsible for, is shaping the light and help concentrate the light onto your subject where you want it. So a very standard, again, shooting would be with your camera lights kind of at even height, both angled kind of at the same direction. Barn doors, just ensuring that all the light coming off the light is hitting your subject. And you're going to get a nice even lighting on your on the product that you're shooting. Something else we can do, again, we do have full control of this, so I'm going to maybe adjust the light, and maybe I'll tilt this one up a little bit, and maybe I'll move it back a bit. Remember how we had 99 dimming on this? If I move it, that's a lot of light, especially if I'm close. You're going to see it starts to blow out the subject a bit, so I might move that back a little bit. The further we move it back, the more it's going to emit light out and kind of cast softer on the actual subject, pending where our barn doors are located. Maybe we'll do something like this here. And actually, let me just take this down to, we'll go 65 here. I'll move that just a tad bit closer. And I'm actually going to crank this light up. And I was saying, okay, maybe I wasn't getting enough light on my actual subject at the top. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more lighting coming down on the top of the top of the bag there. So you can get pretty creative with these lights as far as the positioning, location, shooting, or kind of angle to create your desired effect. If that sounds intimidating, believe me, it's not. We do provide free tech support. We have a lot of good information in the setup guide as well that'll walk you through different lighting configurations. But again, we're always here to help you. If you ever get stuck, or if you're having a hard time with a specific product or anything, let us know, and we'll be happy to help. That kind of goes through kind of the lighting. One thing that you probably are wondering about is the panels that you would have got in your system. You would have got 3 36 by 36 inch white panels. What those are, those can be used to create a light box effect. So sometimes, professional photographers typically don't use light boxes. It's kind of a thing that we've seen a lot of our competitors start to drive, is saying you need a light box. Light boxes don't give you too much functionality with your lighting, and that can really hinder your photography. They are beneficial in some cases. For instance, you're shooting a reflective product and you have some external light coming in that's causing issues on your subject. In that case, yes, a light box might be beneficial. Nonetheless, we do give you 3 panels. They can connect to the sidewalls, 1 on each sidewall, and then 1 over top, and that's going to enclose the lighting. So that it will eliminate any outside reflection. We'll have a separate video for that. I'll link to it in the description below. And if you have any questions, again, let us know.